Hello everyone, welcome to Hill Studios again. This is Sanjoma and now we will talk about box colliders. In the last session we talked about rigid bodies, now we will talk about box colliders. The main difference between rigid body and box colliders is rigid body will try to apply physics forces on a particular object, but it is not enough just to apply forces. We have to apply interactions also. For having interactions we need box collider. Without box collider we will not have any interactions. So I think you understood right now. Like rigid body is for applying forces and box collider is for applying interactions. Now I have a sphere in my editor right now. What I can do right now is I can just turn on the speed collider and I can just hit play and the sphere will land. But if I turn off my sphere collider, then the sphere will fall down because physics will be applied. But what happened is that if I disable the box collider, then it will just fall through the plane. Let us have a look at that right now. Now I started the game and I turn on the box collider. You can just see like the sphere is landed on the plane, right? Now I'll go to the sphere and I will turn off the box collider right now, sphere collider, and if I click on play, the sphere will fall through the plane. Now you have understood that rigid body will apply physics on a particular object, but in order to interact it need to have box collider. I hope you guys got it right now. Let's move to the next topic right now. And also primitives in Unity comes with a box collider. If you can just look at the cube that I imported, it also has a box collider. Let me add some rigid body right now. And I also added rigid body to this one. And if I click on play, you can just see like the cube landed on the plane. What happens if I turn off box collider of the particular cube? I'll just turn off it right now. And you can see the cube fall down to the plane. And every primitive has a box collider. For cube it has a box collider, for sphere it has a sphere collider. And one of the most computationally expensive collider is known as mesh collider, which you can see on the right side of inspector. Mesh collider is used for complex objects, so objects which we cannot set it up with a single cube or not. We will look into it more right now. Okay guys, now I imported a model from Mixamo and I added mesh collider to that particular game object. And mesh collider contains an option known as convex initially. It will make sure like your mesh collider will become computationally inexpensive. Ease trigger is an option which you already know. It will try to tell you, it will try to send events to your script so that anything touches that particular spot, it will give you an event. And cooking options are the rendering modes for a rendering mesh collider. And material is like physical material, which I will talk in the next video. And mesh is like an option where you can provide any mesh you want, and the collider will take the shape of the particular mesh, and you can just place that mesh over mesh collider anywhere, and there are so many advantages over there. Like one of the advantages of this mesh collider is that it is very accurate. You can hit a player with an exact shape, so you don't get any problems having box collider kind of stuff. It will be very much better if you have mesh collider for accuracy. One of the disadvantages is like it is very computational expensive, and since it's having so many edges and complex shapes, the collider calculation, the collision calculation will become much more difficult. And if you have one mesh collider, it is not a problem at all. But if you have 100 players like battle royale kind of stuff and you have 100 mesh colliders on this one, I think it's going to be computational expensive. In multiplayer FPS games, what people can do is like they can turn off the mesh collider on we can turn on only on local player and they can turn off on other players. Okay, now I placed the mesh collider on this particular object right now, and turn on convex whenever you can in the mesh collider option, because it's going to decrease the computation expense. So you can just see like I'm turning off and on convex, and you can see like the if I turn off convex, the edges are very more, and if I turn on convex, the edges are slightly less, and accuracy will be decreased, but it is very minimal, which you cannot even observe. So turn on convex to just decrease the computation. Okay guys, I hope you got some value out of mesh collider actually. So mesh collider will be generally used for complex shapes. For normal shapes you can use the predefined. So let me take that sphere and I will try to remove the component, and I'll try to add box collider to sphere. Now you can see the box which is forming around the sphere, and you can edit that box collider. There are so many options in here which you have: edit collider option, ease trigger option, material option, center and size. So I'll talk each one of it right now. And if you can assume, center is something which will change the center of the box, and size is something which will change the size of the box. And you can also change it with your mouse cursor by pressing on the edit collider button. If you press on the edit collider button, then you will get a points, and you can change the box collider from there as well. Now what I'll try to do is I'll try to decrease the box collider to half of the sphere, and I will see what will happen right now. So rigid body will be applied on the whole, but interaction will be done by box collider. So if I turn on this thing, you can see like half of the sphere is under the plane, and because box collider is only half of the sphere, that is the reason why sphere is half of it. Now what I can do is I can just increase the box collider during runtime, which will give me the real time changes. So it is a great advantage, I feel like. Now I am slowly increasing the box collider, and you can just see the changes that is happening or just fall down. So I think it is one of the best advantages, like you can just observe your changes in box collider during runtime. Now we will try to capture the events of Easter. Now create a script, name it some whatever you want actually. Now open that script in Visual Studio or in our favorite IDE, and now what I'll try to do is I'll try to create a function right now. Just go to create C# script and create a script right here. It's named collider, and don't name it collider, actually it is a future error. I am from future, right? Collider is actually having a collision with the namespace, so maintain it as collider YT, something like that. And now go to this, go to editor and try to write a function private void on trigger enter. You have to specify the name exactly. You don't write on trigger enter, and as a parameter you have to specify collider, where the event will be captured, and the object with you which you are collided, that option will be passed, the object will be passed to other. So you can just click on debug.log of other.name. You just need to write it out, and don't name it collider, name it as collider YT. And after that just drag and drop that script onto the inspector, onto that particular cube right now, and we will have a look at out how it points out. After that I found out in Unity forums that you don't need to have a script named collider with name collider, so I changed it to collider YT. And after that I saved it up, and there are a lot of errors actually after that because of some photon kind of stuff. There is some changes in namespace, I don't know what is going on, so I deleted all of the packages that in my way actually. So I kept on deleting all of the packages, and we will see what will happen. I think yeah, we will see it. Okay guys, so we added a script right now, and when you click on play you can just see on the console like we got plane, but our sphere fallen down, and that is because if you turn on each trigger option, then that particular box collider will not interact with anything. So one of the quick fix to solve that particular issue is that you just need to add another box collider without each trigger option setting to true. If you just add two box colliders, one box collider with where like you just need to turn on each trigger, and other box collider where you didn't turn on each trigger, and after doing both of those things the sphere will okay. Now I turned on each trigger option to true on one thing, and each trigger option to false on another sphere collider. Now let us see how it works out, and our sphere stands on. Okay guys, now I hope you got some value out of this video. In this video initially we discussed about box colliders and what is collider used for, and after that we discussed about mesh collider, and we also imported a mesh collider for a SWOT, and we looked at different kinds of options, and we also learned about how to use triggers for on trigger enter, and we also solved one of the bug that is occurring with each trigger option enabled. So I hope you get some value out of this, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned.